Hi, my name is Darcy Knapp, and today we're going to discuss SEO basics. We're going to look at web marketing from a search engine standpoint, how to grow your website, how to handle the current mobile trends, and what it's going to take today to get your website found. We're going to look at organic search strategy, which is about bringing in natural traffic as opposed to paid or social media driven traffic. And when we deal with SEO Bootcamp, it's all about different ways to bring that organic traffic into your website. Search engines show paid ads first. Pay-per-click advertising, as opposed to a pay-per-clip, as you see on top, is about pay-per-acquisition clicks. So you're going to buy your traffic from the search engine. What we're going to look at today is getting your traffic organically, which is not buying traffic. Search engines retrieve websites. They don't bring up URLs that aren't attached to a website. So when we look at the landscape, you're going to have your paid ads, your organic listings, your Google business pages to the right, and then you're going to have a lot more information down below and more additional paid ads. The goal is to get your website above the fold, what you see here, so that your website can be seen and gotten to without having to pay for the click and without having to scroll down the page. To get your Google Plus business page, you're going to go to Google My Business and create your free page. The setup is very similar to that of creating a Facebook page. The beauty of your Google Plus business page is it will show up on the right-hand side of search, above the fold, right alongside the paid ads, and then next to your organic ads. This section will give you traffic for free. All you have to do is create the page. Your Google Plus for Business is very easy to set up. You're simply going to click to create a page, select that you're a business, and follow the prompts. When you're done, Google will send you a postcard. You're going to confirm your existence, and then you're good to go. Once your page is verified, you'll actually show up on search within 24 to 48 hours. When it comes to search engine optimization, content has always been king with the search engines. Search engines are looking for that unique content. It has to be text-driven, not hidden in images, and it just needs to be your words on that page telling the search engines who you are, what you do, what kind of benefits you provide to the consumer, and why the consumer should do business with you. One key point to keep in mind is voice-driven search. With so much of the web being searched from cell phones and Googlebot devices, Alexa devices, you want to make sure you're always adding content on a regular basis, and FAQs are a great way to drive those voice search results and gain traffic for your website. When you look at traffic today, you have to keep in mind that almost 75% of all US traffic is mobile driven. You want to make sure your website is responsive, that all your phone numbers can be tapped and dialed. If you're using a vanity phone number like 1-800-DIAL-A-PLUMBER, make sure right below that you have the text numbers available. Consumers just want to tap and go. They don't want to have to write and remember a phone number. And a quick side note, when you put photos on your website, Google can't read them. They don't help for search. They're helping for the consumer experience. Remember that photos are not free. Do not go to Google and search for what are quote-unquote free images. You need to buy your images from a stock artwork website so that you don't get a bill in the mail later on that says you used an image that you don't own. So when we look at how your website's going to get found, there are a lot of different ways to drive traffic. We're going to focus on the organic traffic. There is also paid and referral traffic, social media traffic. You can drive traffic in from your radio and your TV ads, from putting ads in directories. People don't want to type a .com. They're going to just go to their computer. They're going to go to their phone. They're going to ask for the service they're looking for. And if you're one of the top results, you're going to get that traffic. So let's take a look at organic traffic. Search engines are the ultimate way to be found. Human beings are a lazy bunch. We don't go to our browser and type http://www.adomainname.com. We just put what we want in the Google search bar and trust Google to deliver us the best results. So you always want to remember, Google is telling the consumer, here are my top 10 picks. You want to be in that top 10. We're going to talk a lot about Google because Google does dominate the search engine landscape. It's not that we don't want to rank on Yahoo or Bing or any of the other smaller engines. It's just that Google has the lion's share of all the traffic and it has the hardest algorithm. If you can rank on Google, you'll rank everywhere else. So let's take a look at the shift that happened in 2014. The last time we saw a shift like this was in 2009 when Facebook and social media sites surpassed the porn industry. What we're seeing today is mobile devices, handheld search, surpassing desktop. So we're looking at 3 years and 4 years ago when mobile became the go-to media over desktop. Today we're talking 75% of traffic, up to 95% in some industries, are mobile driven. So when we look at mobile domination, and at 70% of all searches mobile, we have to drill down a little further and realize that 50% of all mobile search is voice activated, whether it's a cell phone, a tablet, a computer that's picking up on a microphone. It can be a bot, Google bot, Alexa bot, Amazon bot, anybody's bot. Apple has a new bot. Everybody's talking to their screens. No one is typing. So when you look at 400 million searches a day and half of them being voice driven, you have to keep your content fresh. You have to keep your site ranked. And again, we're going to go back to FAQs. It's a great way to put those questions that people are already asking their hands onto your computer so that Google, Safari, Yahoo, Siri will bring those questions and answers up to solve the consumer's query. So when we look at mobile statistics, the most important thing to keep in mind is that 70% of mobile search results in an action within 1 hour. These are people looking for an immediate need to be solved. If you have the answer, they're making the call, they're booking the appointment, they're scheduling the service. It's a much shorter time frame to close than when you compare desktop traffic, which takes at least a week to convert. So when we look at search engine spiders and how they work, a search engine is going to send its spider out to read your website approximately every 30 days. If the spider doesn't find new content, the spider may fall back to a 60 or a 90-day cycle, so you always want to be adding new content to keep the search engines happy and to keep the spiders coming back. So when you look at a web page, you can see everything. When the search engine spider comes and crawls your website, it's only going to see a limited amount of the data that you see here. Search engine spiders are going to come to your website and only be able to read your text. If you want to know if something's text, see if you can copy and paste it into a Word doc. That will tell you that it's text. Search engine spiders cannot read copy that's embedded in images. They can't read images, videos, movies. They can only read content. So the content is very important if you're going to grow your site to please the search engines, that you keep adding more content on a regular basis. Search engine spiders are simply web bots. They aren't really spiders. They're going to come out and crawl your website. They're going to follow every link and index every page. Outbound links will create exits for your spiders, so you want to limit the number of links out from your website. Optimization is the most important thing you're going to do for your website. Optimization, if you can get to page 1, to the top 5 positions, will get you a chance at the organic traffic that's out there looking to buy your products and your services today. So when we look at optimization in your website, you always want to remember that content is king. I know we've talked about it already, but the more content you can add on a regular basis, the better off you're going to be. Content can be in the form of testimonials, blog posts, FAQs, more content pages. You want to keep building your website. You also want to make sure you have an SSL. That's your secure socket layer that puts the HTTPS into the browser so that Google search engines show you are secure. Other important factors to remember: try to get your contact information on every page. Don't make the consumer have to look to figure out how to contact you. Always tell the who, what, where, and why about your business on your homepage to make sure that the search engines know how you can fulfill the consumer's needs. As we look at growing your optimization, you're always going to want to be adding content and building backlinks. Those backlinks will help drive your credibility. The sites that are more credible rank higher. So when we look at sources for those backlinks that you're going to build, you can add a backlink to all of your social media pages, to any other websites you add content to blogs, articles, newsletters, any place you put your information on the web. Always add a link back to your website to show Google that your website is popular. When your site shows up on a search results page, what you're going to see next to the number 1, if you're in a Google browser, is going to be the title tag on that particular page of your website, followed by your domain name, your meta description, and your meta keywords. Understand that Google doesn't read meta keywords, but Yahoo and Bing still do, so when you build your pages, you want to include that information. Your title should be very well structured. It should have keyword phrases in it, and you want to avoid putting a bunch of towns with commas between them. That's not how search engines work. And your description needs to be 2 nice, clear sentences. Make sure that they're readable. This is the information that's going to show up on the front page of that search results page. Don't turn your consumer off by putting a bunch of keywords and commas in your description. So when we look at FAQs and page 1 placement, you'll find that by adding frequently asked questions to your website, you can get positioning above the fold at no cost without having to buy paid search and drive traffic through to your website. The clicks from FAQs are all free. So let's review the steps to optimization. You want to research the keywords so that you can go after the phrases that are going to make the most sense for your business. You're going to optimize your content to get those keywords into your homepage and onto your site wherever possible. You're going to build inbound links from all of the sites you visit, and you're going to review your SEO results about every 3 or 4 months, and then you're going to lather, rinse, repeat, and do it all over again. Remember that SEO is never done. It's an ongoing effort to build your website's credibility so that you can show up top of search on the major search engines. Let's look at a few SEO myths so that you understand what's good and what's bad on the web and what makes sense for what you're trying to do. So duplicate content. Duplicate content just means the content that's on one page might be on another page on the web, so Google might ignore it. There are no penalties. Domain names, you can have as many as you want. Just remember that only domain names that are the primary domain name on a website will show up on a search results page. As far as domain extensions, should you have a .com, a .biz, a .org, a .tv, a .guru, a .anything, you can have whatever you want. Just understand that .coms are the most predominant in page 1 of search, and that your consumers are going to type .com after whatever domain name you're branding, so it's going to give you the most traffic. All right, let's take a look at keyword stuffing. There is no reason to put a bunch of keywords anywhere on your website where they don't make sense. Your keywords should always be in sentences. Your sentences should always be in good English, grammar check, spell check. Write for the reader. Don't try to write for the search engine unless you're a search engine optimization specialist. When we look at using competitors' names in your meta, unless you want to meet a lawyer, don't do it. Should you add video to your website? The simple answer is yes. Video is great for increasing time on site. Having your users on your website longer is good for SEO. The video itself is never getting read by the search engines. They can't watch a movie. Spiders don't have eyes. They can't read the video. There's no text. But again, if it increases your time on site, it's great for your website. One final myth we're going to take a look at is social media. Everything you post on the web is out there, but it is not all public. Search engine spiders, again, don't have hands. They can't type a login and a password to get into a social media website. So other than your basic information on your profile, search engine spiders cannot read your posts. There are some great SEO tools out there available for you to use for free. Here are a few of them. Keep in mind that the data that's on the web that's free for you to view for everybody else's website, they can also look at everything about your website. So here are some great links to some of these free SEO tools. The Whois record will show you who owns a domain name when it expires. If you have private registration, your name won't show, but your expiration dates will. The archive.org/web is the Web Internet Archive that will show you cached pages, which is historical data. What did the page used to look like? That's very important if you're trying to go recapture old data or rewrite data to make new content. One interesting thing you can do with your website is you can test your Google index. If you put the word site, SITE, yourwebsite.com, you can see how many pages of your website have been indexed by Google. This is really important to check once in a while so that you can make sure that as you add new content, it is being picked up by the search engines. There are great Google keyword research tools. If you create an analytics account, you'll find out what's going on in your website. If you create an AdWords account, you can find out what's going on in the marketplace. You can choose your area by geography, put your keywords in, and Google will tell you in that specific geography what kind of search has there been in the last 30 days, in the last 12 months for those keywords. Google Webmaster Tools is a great addition to your website. You can track queries, you can track traffic, you can track what keywords brought people into your website. Google will give you all of this data for free. Within the Google Webmaster Tools is a link checker. This will show you how many inbound links are being fed back to your website. Inbound links are roadways. They can bring consumers into your website free of charge. Google Analytics, also free to install on your website, will show you your traffic. Where does it come from? What kind of device? How long were they on site? Is it a new user, a returning user? What media brought that user into your website? Was it referrals, social media, organic, or direct? Google Analytics will show you your mobile versus desktop usage, how many pages was the average user on, what kind of time frame were they in, and this is great data to know as you build your website content, what device should you be gearing it for. And some interesting facts. So we're looking at what happens in a minute. This is 2017 data just to give you an idea of how vibrant the web is and how much is going on at any given time. Thank you for your time today. I hope you've enjoyed the SEO Basics Bootcamp course. If you have any questions, feel free to email, call, or text. Do understand that if you ask us a question that we find really intriguing, it may end up on our frequently asked questions page. We will not cite you as the author, but we will definitely put the question and the answer out on our site to help other consumers find answers to their questions.